Greetings and welcome to the Wealth Management RPA Fast Chat. My name is Fred Barstein, contributing editor for WealthManagement.com's RPA Edge Omnichannel and CEO at TRAU, TPSU, and 401k TV. We're also the official media sponsor for Wealth at Work, October 15th and 17th. Today, we are talking with Jennifer Rayner, founder of Moniwell, and Lauren Loehning, partner at Retirement Impact and advisory board member of Moniwell. Both have active retirement plan advisory practices on that. So they are also speakers at the Wealth at Work conference, and we want to hear a little bit more about their session. So welcome, Lauren and Jennifer.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
So, Lauren, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about what this session is going to be about and what advisors are going to learn.
Sure. Well, thanks again for the opportunity to talk a little bit about our session coming up at the Wealth at Work conference. We're really excited about it because this topic is near and dear to both my heart and Jennifer's. As you mentioned, we work as retirement plan advisors. We both have established practices for a number of years. And I got connected with Moniwell because I was kept running into the same issue with all of my plans. We've got great tools. We've got great resources through the record keepers that we work with. There's no limit to the amount of information that my plan participants have access to. But what I came up against time and time again was, how are we getting them to engage? Why won't people show up to these meetings? Why won't they click on these links? You have access to, advice through your record keeper. You have access to so much information. Why can't we get people to the table? And when I met Jennifer at Moniwell, it was really interesting because she had been piloting and creating a solution to address just that. And what I loved about it, it was all about emotional engagement. If we think about financial services, our industry, we've spent $2 billion on financial wellness products, which are wonderful. The studies show that if you actually use those resources and you engage in all the great wellness content that is out there, the participants will do better. They'll save more. They'll learn how to budget. Like, that will happen. But the problem is getting people to the table. How do we get them into the room in order to engage with all of these great resources? And if we think about the way our industry has addressed this, it's always been through, attacking our thinking brain, right? How are we going to get this information out there? It's all geared towards our thinking brain. And we also assume that everyone's ready to take action, that everybody's ready to kind of dive right into that information. But in reality, and from a biological perspective, humans are feeling creatures that think and not thinking creatures that feel. So if you kind of take that and think about it for a minute, we're kind of flipping our industry, the way we've approached financial wellness and engagement, kind of inside out and upside down, right? How do we emotionally engage with people in order to get them to take action, and the right action, not just clicking on a link? How do we get them intrinsically motivated to do that? And I'll turn it over to Jennifer to talk a little bit about kind of what we're doing and what we'll be talking about in this session for advisors.
Great, thanks. Jennifer, what are you going to be presenting and addressing here?
So Lauren and I have put together a presentation that is addressing the fact that we need to be talking with or interacting with employees in a different way to get them to engage in those solutions. But we're going to go about it by explaining this process or these problems that we're having in terms of marketing, right? So it's a push-pull strategy. In marketing, you can either push somebody and say, hey, these terrible things are going to happen, which tends to be what we do in our industry. You're not going to retire. You're going to have nothing. You're going to be destitute. You're going to be living on the street. You don't want this to happen. Save some money, right? That's how that's an extreme, but that's how we typically address it. And in actuality, the best marketing in the world is when you use a pull strategy, meaning you emotionally engage somebody and wanting to buy your product, right? That's how we're approaching engagement with employees, is that we want to emotionally engage them, which leads to intrinsic motivation. If they have intrinsic motivation to interact with the tools that you're providing or sit down with you as an advisor, you are more likely to get them to take action to sign up for that, but also to then engage in and do the steps that you've suggested they do. I mean, the financial planning industry and advisors have already bought into this. They're all over it. They spend all this time talking about how they can interact with their client on an emotional level, ask questions in a way that we're not typically used to doing as advisors. The problem we have in our industry in the DC space is that we don't know how to scale that, right? And we're going to address that. We're going to talk about there are ways to approach this from a very scalable, tool-driven methodology. We're not expecting advisors to sit down with 300 employees and become their therapist, right? But understanding what is actually going to work and what is not can help you go find engagement tools, right? Because we have all of these wellness tools. Now we have to think in terms of engagement tools, and that is not just emailing people. It doesn't work because you're not addressing those emotional underpinnings.
Well, it's certainly going to be different than any session that I've heard, and I'm looking forward to it. And if there's anything we can do to even touch on improving engagement, it's going to be certainly worthwhile. So definitely worth going to for advisors to hear about it and understanding what financial wealth advisors are doing, because they're definitely focused on psychology and understanding people. So that's great. Well, that's all the time we have today. I've been talking with Lauren Loehning and Jennifer Rayner, who are both going to be speakers at the October 15th through 17th Wealth at Work Conference. Thanks for joining today.
No, thank you. Thanks for having us, Fred.
Thanks for watching Wealth Management's RPA Fast Chat, and we look forward to seeing you at Wealth at Work in October. Thanks.